What up, fam? We are here to talk about Snkrs Day 2020. Now, this was the third anniversary of the Snkrs app in Europe, and this was supposed to be the day that would make up for all the L's that we have been taking in 2020 so far, and there have been a ton of them. There was a lot of rumors out there about what sneakers would be dropping on this day. We heard the Off-White 5s might drop, the 4s, we heard the Grateful Dunks, the Ben & Jerry's, a ton of other sneakers too, the Snkrs, the Plum Dunks. A lot of the hottest sneakers basically of 2020 were supposed to drop on this day, and finally, EU gang, we were gonna take a big W. There were a lot of questions about how Snkrs Day would go about in 2020, considering, what's going on in the world right now. We know in 2019, there were stash locations in all of the major big cities like London, Paris, and Berlin. There were drops throughout the day, and we saw sneakerheads and hypebeasts running over each other, stampeding across the city, trying to get to these stash spots so they can get some of their favorite shoes. However, this year I got this notification the night before Snkrs Day, and this basically says, for those of you who don't speak German, this says that they won't be a stash. Just lean back, relax, celebrate at home, and check the app tomorrow. Now, personally, I thought this was the right move by Nike. Nike could not afford to be responsible for starting wave 2 of the pandemic. And if there was one thing for sure I know I didn't want to cop on Snkrs Day, it was definitely a deadly virus. So I went ahead and charged all of my devices. I had 4 devices at home. I know some of you guys out there have like 9 or 10. I set my alarm bright and early and went to bed. The next morning, I'll be honest, I woke up pumped. I felt like I was definitely going to get some W's. You guys know I had my eyes on those Off-White 4s. Those are the ones I really wanted, and this was pretty much my last chance to get them. So I was pumped to, get some kind of W this year. So I go on Twitter to see what's poppin'. The first drop of the day dropped at 9 a.m. and that was this Air Max 1 ladies exclusive, which was also a Snkrs Day exclusive release. And this sneaker was given out by exclusive access only to certain Nike members, which I thought sucked because I didn't get any exclusive access to this pair, but I wasn't too mad about it because the one I actually really wanted was that brown pair. So I wasn't too mad. Moving on, then at 9:30, we see some people start to post pictures that they got exclusive access to the Snkrs waffle racers, the white pair as well as the black pair. So at this point, I was kind of starting to get worried. We've had 2 releases so far. Both of them have been exclusive access only. I don't know, but at this point, it wasn't looking too promising. Little did I know that this was definitely a sign of things to come. But then at 10 o'clock, that's when Snkrs Day turned into Paris Day. Because pretty much the only people that had access to anything during this hour were people who lived in Paris. So there was a Snkrs Pass release for the Jordan 1 Low Paris, also the Jordan 4 Black Cats, also the Jordan 1 Pine Green. And if that wasn't enough, then at 10:30, that's when I started to get really annoyed with Nike with all these Paris exclusive drops, because at 10:30, there was Snkrs passes for the Syracuse pair, the Kentucky pair, also the Plum Dunks, and also the Jordan 4 Off-White, as well as the Jordan 1 85 Varsity Reds. Now, Snkrs Pass, for those of you who don't know, they do work a little bit different than a stash. It's not all of the sneakers in one location only. You pretty much have to be in a zone. And this year, because of the pandemic, the zone was a lot bigger than it usually is. And before you delete all of your French friends from your phones, just know that Snkrs Pass in Paris was also done on an exclusive access basis, so very few people in Paris actually had access to these shoes. But I guess it was better than nothing, because the rest of Europe at this time, we were just twiddling our thumbs waiting for the next release to drop, because we were getting nothing for pretty much a whole hour. Then at 11, we had the Nike Air Max 1 Snkrs Day drop in the brown colorway. Now, this was a 15-minute raffle that was open to everyone. And this colorway was inspired by, of course, the Snkrs Day logo. And finally, the sneaker gods bless your boy. I was able to get a W on this on one of the accounts. But I'll be honest, at the time that I won this shoe, I was still pretty pissed off about this whole Paris thing. So I didn't even feel like excited or anything to win this shoe. However, later on I definitely felt much more grateful and genuinely really excited to actually get this pair in the mail. Of course, a full review of this sneaker will be arriving as soon as I get it. Then moving on to 12 o'clock, this was the hour where a lot of people got access to certain dunks, including the Nike Dunk Low Champs colors, also the Ben & Jerry's Nike Dunk, as well as the Grateful Dead, the yellow pair. And honestly, at this point, I'm just starting to wonder what exactly qualifies someone to get special access. Is it how much they use the app? Because I've been using the app now for like 3 years and I enter pretty much 90% of releases, and I'm sure a lot of you feel the same. Some of the funny stories I saw on Twitter were that some people were receiving access to shoes like the Champs colors, and they had already got those shoes from the Snkrs app when they officially released, so they weren't allowed to buy it again. So that's, I don't know if it's worse, getting access to a shoe you can't actually buy or just not getting access at all. I just thought that was pretty funny. Moving on to 1 o'clock, we had several Jordan 1s released at this hour, including the tie-dye ones, also once again the Varsity 185s and the Court Purples. And once again, it was exclusive access only. However, the thing about this exclusive access was that even people who got access to the shoes, the app didn't really notify them that they got access to it. They had to be basically on the app, refreshing it in order to even know that they had access to it. And that is why so many people who had access, they basically, the offer just expired. They never actually had a chance to go ahead and cop the shoe because, well, they didn't even know that they had access to the shoe. And once again, I don't know what hurts more, getting access to a shoe and then finding out that you weren't able to cop it, or just not getting access at all. At 2 o'clock, we had probably the biggest release of the day, and that was the Airship in the band colorway. Everyone had access to this pair. It was a 15-minute raffle. Of course, I entered with all my accounts, and I took an L on this pair. And what was funny was that I read online that a lot of people were calling these bricks and saying, why is Nike even releasing this on Sneakers Day? Well, I don't know what you guys consider bricks, but if you just have a look on StockX, you will see that, yeah, these are certainly not bricks. I don't think €1,000 profit is a brick. There is a lot of history behind the shoe. This was actually the original band shoes that Michael Jordan wore. So it's definitely a collector's item, and it's looking like it's going to be extremely limited. Moving on to 3 o'clock, so now we're getting pretty much towards the end of the day. Not a lot of sneakers left to cop. So at 3 o'clock, some people reported that they got access to the Jordan 4 Off-White sales. Of course, I didn't, so I was very, very sad about that. And then also some people said they had access to the Stussy Air Spiridons, as well as some of the Nike Off-White Dunks, like the Michigan pair, as well as the Pine Greens. Very disappointed in this whole exclusive access thing, just because there's a lot of confusion. No one knows exactly what you should do or shouldn't do in order to get access to these shoes, but it is what it is. At this point, I'm just like kind of pissed off. I wasted a whole day pretty much staring at the Snkrs app. It was a perfectly beautiful day outside. And finally, the last sneaker that dropped, and this was at 5:30 p.m. we had the Air Max 1 Sneakers Day exclusive, the women's pair, the silver pair. Once again, a 30-minute draw. These were also quite limited. Not many people got W's on this. So pretty much at the end of the day, for most people, this is what you saw on your Snkrs app. You saw these 3 sneakers being released and you weren't selected for either of them. So basically, we mainly took a big fat L on Sneakers Day. At this point, I was very, very thankful that at least I was able to cop that one sneaker and get that Air Max 1, because that was a lot more than most people were able to get. But I do think that the releases on the app could have been a little bit more exciting than just doing exclusive access. It would have been dope if Nike maybe released some clues and then you had to solve the clue and find the shoes within the app. Also, the Sneakers Day app now does have augmented reality built into it, so maybe some kind of augmented reality game would have been pretty cool. I mean, there's a lot of things they could have possibly done instead of doing it the way that they did. So to be honest, overall, I thought this Sneakers Day was probably the worst one that we had so far. But let me know down in the comments, guys, what did you guys think about Sneakers Day? I'm actually very excited to read these comments. Also, let me know if you guys got any W's. I would love to see how many of you guys actually did. But yeah, man, it was definitely a very frustrating day, but I wish you guys a good rest of the weekend. And until next time, guys, peace.